Fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, when someone was like, oh, it's cool, there's a band from New Zealand here, I'm like, the Flight of the Conchords are here? What the fuck is this? That's awesome. But no, they were really good. By the way, I'd like to thank whoever set up the complimentary cupcake table. Thank you. I had 8. I don't know. There was no sign or anything, so I didn't know what it was about. I was just like, well, they're there. And if I ruin somebody's bar mitzvah or something, this is a bad place to have a bar mitzvah, so good. A really weird time. Guys, gals, folks, children, people, everybody. Turned 30 not too long ago. Woo! Yeah, I did it. Did it. I was mad about it at first. I was really upset, but then I realized it was a milestone, right? Milestone. Like when you turn 21, you get to go out, you get to drink, you get blackout drunk, you pass out in some lady's garden, you know? When you turn 25, you get to drive a car for the first time, then you get blackout drunk in that car and you drive it right back to that garden. And when you turn 30, you serve that lady with a class action lawsuit that owns that garden because fuck it if it's your mom, that garden's dangerous. Because 30's about one thing, everybody. One thing. Taking revenge against everyone who's ever wronged you. You reflect back. I'll take an applause break for that. I will take it. Dearest Journal, I got an applause break for no fucking reason. Thank God. But no, 30, you think back in your life, you think about everyone who ever screwed you over, you screw them back a little bit. For instance, gym teacher who called me out for taking a gym class when I was, during gym class when I was 16 years old, I'm gonna bulldoze your trailer. I didn't have a bank account when I was 16. Now that I'm 30, I can take out loans for a backhoe. I could do that. Let's see. Guy who never shut the fuck up during my basic philosophical questions class. I'm gonna poison you with hemlock. How about those poison apples, huh? Let's see. Little girl who one time heckled me at a Hambone show a year ago. When you turn 18 years old, I'm gonna punch you in your face. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Girl in college who would only have sex with me after we went to church. I'm gonna fart in your First Communion Bible. Correction, already did. Already did. I don't know what happened to that lady. I do. I stalk her on Facebook every day. So I know. Man, my friend has this thesis or this theory or I don't know how science works. Whatever. Just calm down. And this is his statement that he believes is true: is that every adult at one point has shit their pants. Gross, disgusting, right? Not something you want to think about. And one day we were in Gettysburg, we were doing this show, we were all sitting around this table, like 5 or 6 of us, and he was going around, he was proving this thesis, and he went to everyone, and everyone had a story about crapping their pants. And it was getting close to me, and it never happened to me before, and I honestly contemplated at one point just lying about it. Just to feel included. And that's a weird form of inclusion to want. That's a weird thing to do. That's really weird. And so when it got to me, I was like, I don't have one. And he's like, all right, well, that's fine. And then I coughed. And I shit my pants. Like, I don't know if it was just like my body was like, well, let's make a hilarious joke. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I angered the god Machu Poo. I don't know what happened. But this is the thing. Since it happened that one time, I shit my pants 7 times. 7 times! That's crazy. And 3 of them were in one day. It was terrible. But the worst one by far was one day I walked out of my house on my way to work. I slipped on the ice, fell down and shit my pants. Which, by the way, I just recently found out is called a Pittsburgh airbag. I didn't come up with that, but that's what it's called apparently when that happens. Oh, that's cool. But I grew up in a magical place called Butler County. Ooh, Butler's a weird place. Butler's this little piece of the South they stapled above Allegheny County. It's an odd racist place. But this is a weird fact about Butler County. Butler County not only has one of the worst heroin problems in the country, but it also has a massive obesity epidemic. Those two things shouldn't even fit in the same sentence. That's insane if you think about something like it's like, oh, I'll have a BLT with opiates. I'll have 8, please. Like, I don't even, that's insane. And so when I was growing up in this weird county, and one Sunday morning, we went to brunch at Perkins. Ooh, Perkins. That's right. Crappy TGI Fridays. I hate them. I never liked Perkins, because the best thing they had there was crepes, which it seems like somebody broke pancakes, is what that was. It was a weird place. And so my mom, I had to go to the bathroom, so my mom walked me to the bathroom, and she stood outside, and I did my business, and I'm going to wash my hands. And I'm standing there, and I'm washing my hands, and beside me, for the first time in my life, appears a black person. I've never, in my entire life, seen one in person. Like, there beside me is a free-range black person. Like, for real. He's right there. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So I revert back to the little 6-year-old me. What I always do in situations, I decide that I should give him a tip. And I don't have money to give out. Like, I wasn't like SG money bags or something. So what I did is I'd give out pieces of advice. They'd be like, hey, here's a tip. Always remember to wash your hands. Hey, here's a tip. Remember to eat an apple a day to keep the doctor away, or you might die. And so I'm standing there, and I just turn to him and I go, hey, here's a tip. Black people are all right. Because in my little 6-year-old mind, I was just like, well, I know people don't like black people for some reason, so I'm going to tell them they're cool and solve all the problems with racism right there. Like, I was like, in my mind, I was doing it. I was saving America. And so, like, and I can't even imagine what he was thinking at that point. He's like, I'm aware. Chuh. So he walks out of the bathroom, and I walk over to the hand dryer, because I just love pounding on that button to try to get the red S-waves to come out. You ever look at that diagram? Just sitting there pounding away, waiting for it. My mom, I don't know if the guy talked to my mom, or my mom was listening to the door with a cup. I don't know, but she kicked open that door like a fucking Stallone movie, like Stallone's door kicker. I don't even know. She walks in, she's like, Derek Michael Minto, did you just say to that young black man that was in here that black people are all right? And I'm like, aren't they? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, am I in trouble? She's like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then here's a tip for you, Mom. Maybe ladies shouldn't come to the men's room. That's the thing that happened. Because my mom reminded me about it a year ago, and I'm like, I should tell people about that. That's what I thought. Here's another old-timey story. I'm going to close on this, because we got lots of other very, very talented people coming up here. As I previously mentioned, grew up in Butler County. Did anyone here anyone hear of Fat Dad growing up? Fat Dad people? Woo-woo! No? Everyone had spelt dads? It's fine. Everyone had Swedish, good-looking dads. I don't know what spelt means. Anyway, I had a fat dad growing up. And the thing about my fat dad loved to go to the pool. Like, loved to go to the pool. And before he'd go to the pool, he'd put on, like, shea butter and regular butter, cocoa butter, all the different butters. Just loved it. He was baking the sun like a delicious turkey. It was probably very tasty to eat. And so one day I'm over at my dad's house, like, I'm like a little kid. My parents have been divorced for years, and my dad says to me, Derek, we're going to the pool. Go up into my room, go get the beach towels. And I'm like, all right, Dad, yeah. So I go up in his room, and I go to grab the beach towels out of the shelf. And on my tippy toes, as I'm pulling, because I'm like a little kid still, I'm like in 6th grade, and as I'm pulling down on these towels, something rolls out of the shelf and flops against my head and lands on the floor in front of me. And sitting in front of me was the angriest looking dildo I have ever seen in my entire life. Like veins in it the size of small vibrators. It ran on 242 double D batteries. It had 3 settings: cunt punch, and octomom. The kind of dildo that children would use to play double Dutch cross with. The kind of dildo that attacked John Voight in the movie Anaconda. The kind of dildo that would go on to be renamed the Keystone XL Pipeline. The kind of dildo that has an Energy Star efficiency sticker on the side of it and comes with a coupon for free home delivery. The kind of dildo that has its own specialized kind of dildo that only deals those dildos in non-dildo dealing locations because of its legality. It was that kind of dildo. And this massive, gregarious, labia refolding device was sitting there in front of me. And I reacted in the exact same way I did the first time I saw vagina. I went, ah, what? And my dad hears me screaming downstairs. He's like, Derek, what's wrong? And begins lumbering up the stairs. And I go, no, 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 no. So I picked up the dildo because that seemed like a good idea at the time. And for those of you who have thrown dildos before, you know, sometimes they come back. And I heave this thing into the back of the shelf and it just slams back there and flies right out and lands exactly where it started. And I'm playing this horrible game of rebound, this massive anaconda of latex. And just as when my dad walks into the room, I managed to wrap it in a beach shell and shove it back up into the shelf. And my dad runs in, he's like, Derek, is everything okay? And I'm like, everything's fine, guys. He's like, oh, okay, why? Whatever. And he's like, well, I'll get the beach towels then. And he reached up into that shelf. And he took that bundle of towels, the world's worst pigs in a blanket imaginable. And we walked down to his Gulfstream minivan, which is the creepiest of all minivans, because it had a TV in the bed in the back. Never knew what that was about. But I remember the moment my dad found that dildo. I distinctly remembered because he made a sound. And it went like this. That was it. That was the sound he made. And there was this long pause, and I'm sitting in the front seat, sweating bullets, and he walks around to the front without making eye contact with me, puts the car in reverse, does a 3-point turn, and drives out on the road and begins driving to the Alameda pool. And we're driving there, and it's clear at this point that my dad has to make a dad speech. You know, he's stuck in this situation, he's just driving, you can kind of hear the speech like pouring out the side of his head, and he's just like... Alright, I'm just gonna nip this one in the butt. Just get this done. Okay, on 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm 8 this time. 7. Hey Derek. I have a question for you. I don't know if you know about this. Do you happen to know what a dildo is? And I had a pre-prepared answer that I brought with me, and I went, no! He went, you don't know what a lady's pleasure device is? No! Oh, okay, Derek. Well, I just want to let you know that if you happen to find a dildo in my room, that it's a special present for your mother this Christmas. It's too much. I just lost my shit at that point. And I just screamed at the top of my lungs and I went, you're buying my mom a dildo for Christmas! And he goes, aha! I knew you knew what a fucking dildo was! So that's about as close as I ever came to a sex talk with my parents. People have asked me this after I told that story. They're like, so, did you ever find out whose dildo it was? And I'm like, okay, I did not do an exit interview with my dad on that. We never followed up on that one. We never talked about it, you know. But the one thing I will tell each and every one of you is that every time I see a dildo, I always think of my dad. I've been Derek Minto. Have a good evening.